Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To approve the minutes of the prior meetings. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the January 13th monthly meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Yeah,
Have
I
it.
said it. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the January 19th guest at the Board of Selectmen meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. The reading of the correspondence. Email from the Massachusetts Office of the State Auditor.
It's in there. It's in your file. Dear Mr. Quinn, dear Mr. Lack, hope all is well with you in the new year. I am writing to you because my team, the Division of Local Mandates, the DLM, with the State Auditor's Office, is in the preliminary stages of research report about the financial issues plaguing special taxing districts in Massachusetts, particularly in water, sewer, and fire. This is not an audit. We are a research team. We do not do audits. We would really appreciate if you could find the time to speak with us on the coordination between the town and the special taxing districts in Dighton, in particular the Dighton Water District, for which you are currently commissioners, if my data is correct. This would be an open-ended conversation. We are largely interested in the district's financial health as compared to the town, how charges, rates evolved, what communication, collaboration between the town hall and the district looks like, and how you personally evaluate the district's performance by any measures. We expect the conversation along with the lines would take around 45 minutes. Could you forward me 2 or 3 times if that would work for you? Also, is there a third commissioner? I was not able to find the third contact email in the district. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me or Ben, the Director of the Division of Local Mandates, who was copied on this message. We appreciate your help. All the best. George. Okay, so this will contact them, Jean. Yeah, I know the town is doing it, I believe, right now, and North Dayton Water, we contacted them also.
That's something that's happening across the state.
Yeah.
All right, I'll contact them tomorrow.
The governor's office is trying to put them together
Yeah.
under one umbrella rather than separate entities.
Why? What's their theory behind that? What's their purpose behind that? Why would they want to do that?
Some water districts, sewer districts as well, are having serious financial problems. So if they go under, how is that to be handled? So they feel the best way to deal with it is to put it under the government. One central, like Taunton, we have a water department.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there'll be pushback, and you guys get, how you feel about that is probably typical how other water districts, independent water districts and fire districts, and sewer districts across the Commonwealth feel. I know how the sewer district in Dighton feels. They're not overly happy about that idea either. So, whether they'll mandate it, I'm not sure. Or ask the voters, I'm not sure.
Okay. So that's something we have. They're recommending it. It's not something that we have to do. Not saying we wouldn't, but
Yeah, I think
Okay.
they're just asking to reach out.
Okay.
I'll take care of it. All right, the Old William Estates, the opinion from Gay and Gay, our lawyers. This is a legal opinion to whether the subdivision known as Old William Estates located at Old Williams Street is exempt from the water connection moratorium adopted by the board on June 25th, 2020. The subdivision plans for Old Williams Estates was approved by the planning board on July 31st, 2007, but were not recorded with the registry of deeds until October 14th, 2021. The plans were recorded after the moratorium was in effect. for the lots shown on the plans are subject to the moratorium. In my opinion, the moratorium does apply to the Old Williams Estates property. Water connections for said property should not be approved while the moratorium is in effect. So obviously, that means that they have to abide by the moratorium.
Okay.
All right, so do you want to let them know? If you haven't already, that they have to abide by the moratorium.
Yeah.
So I think-
Would we send them this letter? Would we let them know, or do we have to?
Just let the, we've already spoken to them.
You've already told them?
We can send it to them.
Yeah, I just want to have a official paper copy, please.
And the meeting posting requirements. The meeting posting requirements applicable to the Dighton Water District. The Attorney General's office confirmed that based on the information I provided, meetings of the Board of Water Commissioners of the Dighton Water District would be classified as meetings of a local public body. This means under the open meeting law, the board's meetings must be posted in the same manner as other public bodies within the town, such as those boards, commissions, etc., existing under the town government. The bulletin board at the town hall is the official location for posting notifications in the town of Dighton. Therefore, the opinion that I had previously provided to the town clerk remains our opinion. The meetings notices must be filed within the town's clerk so that they may be posted at least 48 hours at the town hall prior to the date of the meeting. This is what we had been doing before, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And who was questioning that again? It was,
The town.
okay.
so we're gonna keep doing it the way we were doing it before.
Yep, we just have to time step it in, just like it.
Okay. And they, do they already know this? Okay.
Did we send them a copy of this too? Or should we send
No,
them a copy?
No, they already have their opinion.
Okay.
All right, the financial conditions, operating budget to actual balances, income after 7 months for the fiscal 2022 is $2,292,816, with expenses at $2,186,447, which is 62.3% of our budgeted expenses. Outstanding water receivables as of January 31st are $285,030. Month's commitments were $349,781. And the water receivables for the month were $107,145. Is there a motion to accept the financial reports as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Is there a motion to approve the expenditure warrants as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Superintendent's report.
As you can see, this, we're replacing the filter with a little bit, everything's kind of upside down in here. A lot of, pretty messy in there, it's usually not, it's really clean.
How far along are they? Do they have it apart?
Oh, yeah.
How bad was it?
It was better than the other two, but it was still deteriorated.
Air tubes junk like the other two?
A little better, but not great.
Tank
The
itself?
other two were atrocious.
They had to do all they did a lot more spot welding on this one, or
This
similar
one-
to the other ones?
This one is maybe 20 spots. It's not horrible. They did some, he's coming back tomorrow to do some more welding.
Okay.
So they're changing the plastic to the stainless
Oh,
like last time?
everything spec to
Alright.
the other two.
And the floor was still deteriorated like the other two?
Yeah, but not as bad.
So they let that concrete
No.
hum? Well, the original, they must
Right,
have
right,
let it cure
right,
more.
right.
Alright, good.
Right, it was a little bit better, but like last time they had, Roberts did one, they had like a subcontractor in do another, and somebody, so it was kind of a mess, and they had one person doing it, but pretty nice. It's curing now, already, like the under drains are already in, curing today, as of today, it was put in, and it's going really quick.
Let me
It
guess.
should be out of here by Thursday.
Let me guess. Cost is going to be more than the last two.
A little bit more, right?
Yeah,
A little bit up.
not as crazy as that.
I bet you the
first year.
stainless must be more.
Stainless is way up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, materials.
Okay.
But they gave us a cost, we signed on that cost, so I can't.
You lock in, as long as it's locked in.
We encumbered some from the last time too, so for welding.
Okay.
So that's good. We,
So once we get all three will be done now. What do we have to do, yearly maintenance on these things, so we don't come across this again 5 years down the road, so we're not spending another 300 grand?
probably another 10 to 12 years we have before you have to go in there again.
Yep.
Yearly maintenance, what you do inside that, it's pretty much the next time we go in there, about 10 to 12 years. They'll be taking the meter out again.
What about the outside of the tank? Is there anything we can do with that?
As far as
You see all the rust and the spot
Yeah.
welding that we have to do?
So the second tank that we were able to weld at the time, that has 2 spots that opened up, it looks like, so we're gonna try to, welder suggested JB, like,
Don't say JB weld.
yeah, really.
Don't say that. Flex seal?
I mean, we can't get in there,
Right.
right? And we can we're gonna try to drain it. And Gary and I, we have kind of an idea of, if we drain the water out, I don't think we're gonna be able to weld it. But if we had to, I think we could do it from the outside as long as we drain the water. But with the water in there, it's kind of
They're gonna have to see how big the bad spot is.
Right.
You might have to put a plate
nobody said that.
on each, you know what I mean?
On either side of the tank, or just on the outside?
Well, even on the outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna have to see what.
See what we got?
So, yeah, for now, like, I talked, so, obviously the meters they're still going in. They're supposed to be here first week of March. Yeah, first week of March. We're gonna be,
Right, that's the MIU update.
I'll take care of that now. They're gonna be here first week of March, we're gonna try to book more appointments. At that point, we'll bang more out. We're maybe a little over halfway, maybe 800 about, 750, 800. So, I talked to a gentleman, let me bring this up, in regards to metering. It's the same meter, so to speak. They want to partner with another company. They'll purchase the meter, they'll install the meter, and they'll, take ownership. They own the meter, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We read it, they're basically like a third party. They bill you for the meter monthly, us.
Mm-hmm.
And we never had to purchase it, install it, or replace it if something got damaged other than freezing.
So we're basically leasing the meters then, at the end of the day?
So I figured if we had to change meters out today, it would probably cost us somewhere around $1 million with labor and cost of the meter, maybe a little more, depending on labor costs. The meter, give or take, is $350, and then, but the cost is prevailing wage. It's to put it in, it's almost too expensive. You know what I mean? They're wicked expensive.
So the problem we're having now, so you can kind of get up to speed. So Zenna had a problem, the manufacturer of the meters that we have out there, they had problems with the software.
Right.
So we agreed for them to come in and change the MIU part of the meters. Well, they're replacing the batteries, but they're all refurbished MIUs. I wouldn't say half of them are no good, but at least a quarter of them aren't working even after they refurbish them.
I'm one of them.
So now
We just got a bulletin about how to check the resistance on the battery. I just don't like the resistance.
It's
I'll
the
be calling Tina
whole,
tomorrow.
Yeah.
the whole thing is just, we're spinning our wheels with this, that they supposedly straightened out the problem.
Okay. Well,
So we're still trying to fight with, obviously the contract way back when is they're not responsible, they're helping, but it's kind of a back and forth. So we're at the point where we have to stop buying some new ones to keep going forward, or we have to stop and regroup. And so they're still gonna send out a whole other team in March to keep replacing, but
Now, next Wednesday, what would you like me to tell the citizens?
as far as what?
Well, at this
There are
point,
some people who had them come in and do work, and they're still not working, like myself.
all right, so this is one other thing that happened. This meter that we have now, it's a mesh meter, it's on a network. So the old meter, we drive by it, we ping it, we read it, we just keep going, and it worked phenomenal for about 5, 6 years. No problem. And then the software glitch that they had. January 1st, 2021, they turned the battery on, killed it. It just drained the batteries, and we didn't find out until they were dead. Obviously, it was too late, and there's nothing we could have done. Something in the meter turned it on in their program, whatever it was. Okay, great, that's over. The new problem is, so we're installing we're going to your houses and we're putting these meters in. It has 2 networks, let's call one's 2F4E, whatever, and the other one's B4, D2. That is, say Taunton had the same meters. It's not a licensed signal, so we don't want the same signal as they have, right? Because we'd be reading each other's meters.
Like on a different channel. Yeah.
They sent us both kinds, and we only have the infrastructure for one kind.
Right.
It's a nightmare.
So how are they, how are you gonna do?
They're going to put collectors out there with the other, and then they're gonna tell it to change to 2F, which is what we have.
All right.
So they can do that with the software?
They can do that with other collectors, and so we have the collector out here, you can put it up and buy it, or first week. And then the ones, he's gonna get as many as they can, and then they're gonna move it around to where they need to be.
To be able to update the ones, yeah.
So, if people are having problems and got those red cards, should they just call Tina? Okay, just want to tell people.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna start rectifying that second issue in March again, right?
Now,
If we've already been into the help, we're gonna have to.
yeah, we shouldn't have to. If this works, then you shouldn't have to.
So they,
It should work.
It's just a
need to
software
update-
problem,
Yeah,
though.
we just need to update those.
Again.
We need to
Yeah.
have the B4 tell it to turn on to 2F, and then it'll be hopefully done. Again, so with all this happening over the last year, I called this guy, and then he told me about the program that they can offer with this other company that uses their meter. Like I said, about $1 million for us to purchase meters. They should be changed between every 15 and 20 years, somewhere in between that number. I mean, we should be changed. So if we took that $1 million, so it's looking at, for a 20-year project, it'd be around $2.8 million for us to basically rent that meter. Now, if we bought them, it would be $1 million. The meter's ultrasonic, so supposedly it reads at doesn't supposedly, it does. It reads at, it starts at like maybe, I forget what, 0.04 gallons. You start your water, and it reads at 0.04, where the type of meter we have reads at maybe a quarter of a gallon. So their thought process is you may recoup some of that through your rates, some of that cost. So right now, I don't think I could go, or we could go to the.
it's not feasible right
There's
now,
another $1 million.
honestly. It's not
So
feasible
it's
right
just
now.
an idea
Yeah.
going forward. Right.
But as long as the system works now, we have, my opinion,
Hoping.
speaking out loud, fixes the problem, we have other things to worry about.
Right.
If the meters are working, so. We'll talk about it later, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, and then the Brook Street wall, we're still status quo
We
on
need
that.
to go in with them and start talking again.
So we have to have another meeting with them.
If you want me to set something up.
Well, we're meeting Matt tomorrow,
Okay.
so why don't we make sure tomorrow,
We gotta come to the table with something for them, something concrete, right?
right, so why don't we talk to Matt tomorrow?
Yeah.
And get that number finalized tomorrow, that way he can write up a proposal.
Yep.
And that way we can have a meeting with them with a written proposal.
Yeah, because we've been getting requests, because that moratorium affects developments. Right now, no one can build.
Developments.
Right.
We can build, you guys can build, just not develop.
Development,
Right.
right.
Well, it's still gonna be, and we're gonna have to, well, make a decision on the extension of the moratorium, right, by June?
Mhm.
Alright, the agreement, what's the water main extension?
That's, yeah,
This one here?
So that's the one that we have,
Yeah, he had some changes on that.
right, we already
because
did
the
that.
Trinity wanted some changes.
Right, did we do that last time?
Mhm.
No, Matt.
So did Matt look at this?
Yeah.
I sent it to Matt, I just didn't get any about that.
Alright, so we can't do anything with this until we
Yeah,
go into that.
yeah.
Alright, can we talk to him about that tomorrow too? Alright, Elm Street mixer is fixed.
Elm Street was supposed to be fixed. They thought they had it fixed without having to put the new one in, so they went off, and now they will be back March 7th because it didn't work. They thought the ground was loose and they put the ground back in to work, and they left, and we went back there the next day. So they'll be back March 7th.
Alright, did they order a new mixer?
They have it, it's still there. I thought they were trying to save us some money because it didn't stop working.
But it's the motor. Alright, outstanding invoices, we're also,
But haven't heard anything
Okay.
from them.
and then the tenant leases, union site management.
I'll give you the comparison sheet. The one that went to fire, internet.
Yeah, we said no to that anyway.
You told me to get what the difference would be, so.
So refresh my memory on this.
Yeah, this is another, like, everybody wants to buy everybody else, so this is another company that wants to buy all the antennas off this, but.
Right, they buy the leases
Right,
and
they
then
buy
call,
them.
but then if they get any more leases on, not 10.
It would go
they
to
get
them.
50.
Oh, we
and
get
they
50.
Alright, okay, I think we talked about this, saying that
Doesn't matter.
about welding on tanks and stuff, we already have problems with another
It doesn't
antenna
matter.
company.
You
Alright,
lose
so,
control of the tank.
alright, so that's a no. Alright.
So what do you mean lose control of the tank?
Well, if they, I'm assuming if they now own the lease up there,
Yeah, if they get 10 more antennas, they have to.
they might want to try to pack that thing.
But we don't
up.
have, we wouldn't have a say on if they put more up there or not? They can just, they can do that?
Kind of like your house roof with solar.
Right.
I don't know.
It's
Right.
like you're renting
I don't
a
want,
tank.
I don't even want to.
You're giving them the tank to do what they want with it.
They might have some fine print in there, you know what I mean? God only knows, and it doesn't, it's not even too good to be true, because you get less over there.
Right. Oh, well, of course.
You get a lump sum,
Yeah.
but it's never gonna add up to.
So we get the lump sum of, say, 972,000. But if we did our yearly lease agreement, at the end of the day, we'd get over $1 million, almost 1.1 million. Is that what I'm reading here? Okay.
Over 20 years, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, over the 20 years.
yeah. So you're making more over 20 years
So
than,
you
and you're gonna negotiate,
Does that take-
that's at today's dollar.
I was gonna say, does that take
Right.
into account
It doesn't.
inflation and all that fun stuff, right?
Doesn't take into account.
So-
your-
So it could be higher, yeah.
So in today's dollars, do we have a copy of the agreement, just out of curiosity? Like, what their agreement would be?
The company that wants to buy us out?
Yeah.
No, he just sent me the numbers.
Which is scary as
Right.
What's that?
well. Not that they didn't
Not having
provide
anything
any
like
like
that.
document.
Yeah, I don't wanna
Yeah.
totally completely dismiss it,
Right,
but if it's beneficial to us as well, then maybe take a look at it. I mean, it's a chunk of money.
Well, I know we had a problem though with the welding ones, that they were gonna skimp on it, they were gonna do something when Ed was here, and then we told them no, because of there was something with that they were trying, you're gonna be very careful.
That's fine,
Yeah.
I just don't, I'd be remiss if we didn't do our due diligence on it, just in case.
Right.
I can ask them.
Just see if they have a
some more
sample,
information.
see what the contract would be, or what it would entail, and, we get $1 million up front, and then we still get 50/50 on whatever, if we have a say in
If we
what
have-
goes on,
if they have
and
say.
if we still have control of the tank, then maybe it's something to look at. Not saying yes or no, but
Yeah,
I'm
no, I'm
just,
saying,
yeah.
we'll have to have Matt look at it too.
I just wanna do the
Okay.
research on it, before we just say no.
All right, new business, Budget fiscal 2022. This is the first draft.
Yeah, it's just the rest of
Look over.
that.
All right, the water abatement.
Oh. Yeah, that's it,
All right.
This is the 2023 budget.
yes. Yeah, so right now on the articles in the budget, it's 464,000 less than last year's annual. I'm not saying that's not gonna go up, but it's where it is right now.
And does that take into consideration all the union negotiations, everything?
I added 2% across the board on that, but
It'll be a little bit more. Or less.
I assume there'll probably be more articles going forward that will mean.
Before May, yeah.
This is August.
So the abatement, it looks like he's not in the district, but he's been being charged.
All right, is this the whole, those 25 people that have been in the district out of the district?
No.
This is totally
It's got-
separate?
Right, this is a gentleman on County Street.
You know, like Somerset one?
Yes,
So he's on Somerset, where's he live? What's the address?
It's 2568 County Street.
it's after Hot Street in North Somerset.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how many years has he been paying this? Forever?
Yes, I think so.
Oh.
So Lots Blanks clearly said he's not in the district, I haven't seen it.
It's, the papers are there.
Yeah.
I've asked the assessors.
Now, is he the only one that's paying out of everybody that's on?
I think there's a few other ones next to him. They were gonna research it, the assessor's office was gonna go through, make sure all the right people are getting charged or not charged.
All right, so we gotta wait on them, obviously, to make sure, to see what, right, see how many are and aren't.
Yeah, we can do that.
So that way we don't make a decision and then it,
Do you want me to have Matt look at it?
yeah, that's gonna be a good idea. I don't- So we gotta find out, we gotta find out how many, we gotta find out how many,
Where's he at? Where's Patel at? That's Patel.
so this is what, this is county,
Mhm.
this is Hart. This is all Pleasant, okay, I see what you're asking.
Okay, yeah, it'll come down.
All right, yeah, yep, the water should be here.
Yes. What about the town?
Yeah, we gotta have Matt take a look at this, I mean,
Where's the, okay, yeah.
and there's, and everything is on Somerset Water, with the fire hydrant, everything is.
Anything after house?
Yeah, have Matt take a look at it, and then we'll just go from there. We'll talk to the assessor's office, and obviously if he's not in the district, then he's not.
Okay. I'll make a motion now. Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to have our legal team,
Review
Review it.
Look at it, it's 500 feet from
on our hydrant, correct?
I think he's only looking to payment for this year
Okay.
and to get off of it.
Yeah.
All right, so is there a motion to approve or deny? Well, we
Yeah,
can't do that.
Can't, we gotta wait, we want Matt to, we want Matt to
Alright.
look at it.
All right, so is there a motion to have Gay and Gay look at this, to review it, and then we'll make a decision at the next meeting?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You guys have it?
Put that with it.
All right.
Where's Hart Street on this? This is Hart right here? Yeah, that's Hart right there.
Yeah.
That's got to Hart, yeah.
Somerset has half a heart, and we have the
Yeah, we have the south facing side.
I just wanna make sure that we don't,
Who did this back in the day?
You take that sheet.
all right, so,
That side will
So-
take this side.
Yep.
Oy vey.
20 years from now, if we ever took over the whole town of Dighton, then everybody would be back in it, but, all right. Get that realized. All right. The announcements, the next regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners is March 10th at 6 PM. Oh, all right, wait, no, hold
Well,
on.
it's
Oh, yeah,
That's after.
my bad.
All right, see if that works, Jason.
Which, when is it?
March 10th at 6.
March 10th.
Yep.
Yes, I can do, I'll be, no. Hold on a second.
Oh, yeah,
No good, Jason?
No, because I think I am in, I think I'm in
We can add it there.
New Jersey and PA that Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday.
all right, so we'll go the next week?
Yeah,
17th.
that's St. Patty's Day.
The 16th. You win.
Yeah, I gotta work. But you guys can do it.
No, I got you,
know
I
it's-
got you.
How about the 18th?
Friday.
Can do 11?
No, I think he's away for 3 or 4 months.
Much. I can do that Friday, the 11th.
You know,
Awesome.
There we go.
That I can do.
You go free?
Who's paying
Still not
for
paying
What time do you wanna do it?
6 PM.
it? You have enough.
On Friday?
Earlier?
I was thinking the same
I might, I might, it's a long work week.
All right, you wanna do 5?
I'll do, it doesn't matter to me, honestly, I don't care. You wanna do 6, I'll do 6.
No,
Wanna do 5?
I'm not, I don't work. 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?
That work?
For sure.
All right, 4 o'clock.
Alright,
I have a full.
that won't be as bad as 4, no.
All right, the annual election will be on May 16th. The request to be placed on the ballot will be available from March 1st to April 4th at the district office. The annual meeting will be May 26th, 2022. Is there any public input?
Actually, I have 3 questions. Regarding the Old William Street development, or Old William Street estate, will a copy of your decision be sent to Mr. Aguirre, building
Can
superintendent?
be. Yep.
Yeah, should be.
Tina, would you be able to get from me, or answer this question? The abatements this year, are they more than previous years?
Yes, 2.
Oh,
That's it, 2.
okay. So we've
I
had
think
a lot of
we've had-
sound and fury, but no action.
There you go.
No?
Wow.
I think we might have had maybe 2 or 3 over the years. I think 2 this year.
For,
Asking for an abatement.
oh, gotcha,
water abatement.
gotcha.
That's incredible. I mean, you guys went to the meetings.
All right.
Yeah?
And then the third question is timeline, Main Street project, July, August, September, or?
I'm gonna ask Scott. Because I
Okay.
believe the bid's gonna come out in the summer, and then I had thought he had told me they wanna start late summer, so let me double check this.
Yeah, and
The engineer,
I won't,
but it's still, it's happening.
no, I get it, but I don't wanna say something
Yeah.
at Wednesday night that's going to.
Well, let me find
trigger-
out and I'll tell you. Let me ask Scott, double check with Scott.
So your meeting is Wednesday, so you need an answer by Tuesday.
No, I don't gotta have an answer.
Well, we wanna get you an answer.
Scott should have an answer, I mean, he should be,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Easy.
Yeah.
that'd be wonderful.
yeah, I mean, if we contact him tomorrow, I mean, he's got Monday, Tuesday,
I was talking to him today, I just didn't think to ask him that. We talked about it and I can't
I mean, I don't know what the timeline is as far as the paperwork, or is it the materials, I mean, obviously it has to be,
remember.
that's again with the,
Did you ask me about my survey?
You know
The survey I sent him?
what?
I know.
Okay. You can give me a comment.
Tina will find
Thank
it.
you.
all right, so
So tomorrow,
Start next
can we, so tomorrow we'll get a hold of Scott at Woodard and
I'll come
Thorne.
to that.
Yep.
All right,
As
anything
long as
else?
you're wrong answer.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yes.
Raymond Jack Tanglewood Road.
All right.
I had a question on my taxes have doubled in the last 2 years, and yet the water price hasn't gone up.
Well, we just went up on the rates
Yeah, what about before that?
before
In
the.
other words, my taxes have gone from $400 to $800, and I don't have water.
So, the
So I'm paying for the water.
Tanglewood's in the district somehow, right?
Yeah, there is water down there.
That's
Um,
my question.
the
How come the
taxes-
water hasn't increased, but the taxes have?
That's what, our water will, the rates are going, are set to go up July,
I'm talking about now,
right now.
in the last couple of years. Why haven't the price of water gone up?
That, we did a rate study.
Why
Well,
haven't
the old
they?
commissioners didn't want to go up on the water rates. That's basically what it comes down to. They felt that they kept the water rates low so they could get reelected. That's what it comes down to.
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
No, I totally agree with you.
My
No,
taxes
that's
in
right.
2 years have gone from
Right.
$400 to $800, and I don't have water.
No, I agree with you. So that's,
So if he's, so
well, there is.
you have well water?
Yeah,
Okay. So he's in the district, correct? And does he have hydrants there? Is there a hydrants there? That's basically what the tax is for, correct? And then also other capital improvements for the taxes?
There are hydrants there, and, yeah.
So you get the tax raise because you have hydrants for fire protection.
hydrant, not on the property.
Not, close, it's within a certain distance. Or,
But how come the price, what I don't understand, why haven't the price of water gone up?
so,
In other words, you can produce the water at the same price now as you did 5 years ago? It doesn't cost you any more money.
the tax rate has been used in the past as a way to keep the rates low.
Is what?
It was used as a way to keep the rates low. It was, if we needed a certain amount of money, and again, this is a different commission, so I'm not blaming any of
What does the
them.
state say about that?
What's that?
What does the state say what the percentage should be?
They don't say anything.
They do.
They're not telling us.
I'll find out.
Okay.
We have,
You just can't keep charging.
So we're going up on our rates now. So the next bill we send out will reflect the new rates. Will reflect our new water rates. Unfortunately, we have a $6 million project and possibly a $5 million project. So that kind of reflects why the tax rate went up and the rates are gonna go up. We didn't put them up this last quarter. You can't go in reverse to put them up. So when the rate study was approved, like we did the rate study, by the time it was all settled, it was too late to, you couldn't just say, all right, this is the new rate. So going forward, as of July, our last reading, which is January, right now, this is reflecting the new rates. We sent out the notice.
Yeah, but I mean, 216, I paid $200.
Right.
What's that?
In 216, I paid $200.
The tax rate was.
Yeah, now I'm paying 800.
So what happened was, is one of, the commissioner gave back a lot of money to reduce the tax. And now
They what?
they gave money back to reduce the tax. They gave, so there was a lot of building going on back then, and there was money coming in.
Yeah,
Instead of doing capital projects, it was decided to keep rates low, give money back
To who?
to
The town.
reduce the
to the
tax.
town.
Gave it back to reduce the tax rate. So now, when we do $100,000, or, you know, we have to do a $5 million, whatever it is,
So back, they
That
didn't do any
capital's
maintenance
gone.
back in the day. They didn't do any repairing, they didn't do any maintenance. They ran the place down to nothing. And every year, they gave back to the town extra, whatever we had extra at the end of the year, they gave back to the town, which reflected in everybody's tax
Yeah, but
rate.
every year mine went up. So how the hell
Well,
can we-
taxes go up anyway, it's not because of us.
And it's based on the
But
assessment.
they
Yeah.
would give, but they would.
You set the tax rate for this. This money from the taxes goes to water.
I understand that, but it would've went even higher back in the day. But he kept giving back extra money to lower it. So even though it only went up $200 back then, it should've went up 400, but he kept giving all the extra money back.
And is it not also tied into the assessed value of the house as well?
Right?
The water tax rate, the amount that you're paying?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is too.
Not really what do you consider that, you're talking about the assessed value of everything.
Yeah, well, the value of the houses went way up this year, right?
Yes.
So you got that money, plus you got a rate increase. The rate went up also,
I agree with you, that's right.
huh?
Yeah, we have capital expenditures of over $10 million that have come up. We had no choice on Main Street. The town was told for 10 years that we were saving money to redo Main Street. Everybody drives down Main Street, everybody knows what Main Street lives like.
Yeah,
So
but
for 10
my
years,
point is, why doesn't the cost of water go up?
it has now,
When?
now.
It's gonna reflect in your next bill, or you're not getting the bill, but the
Yeah,
next
but
bill
I
is.
mean, mine, the taxes have gone up every year.
The water rates have to go up and the tax rate has to go up to
No, they
afford to
don't.
pay. Yes, they do, to afford to pay for all the capital expenditures that were neglected for the last 15 to 20 years.
I agree with you, but
Alright,
why
then-
haven't the cost of water gone up?
Because they didn't go up. We can't change what the prior commissioners did. They
I'm
didn't
not
go
saying I
up.
don't agree with, they have to go up. They should go
They
up.
never went up.
about
But they didn't go
2 to 3
up.
years.
But I can't change the
100% agree.
past
We're not
commissioners.
disagreeing with you.
Okay,
We're not
okay,
disagreeing that they didn't.
okay.
Because they didn't, for 12, 14 years. I said that on a Zoom call we had. I agree with you, and it should not have happened, because they should have been going up, you know, at a higher, you know, so the tax can come down. It
Right,
didn't happen. Right here, since 2011, not reflecting these gentlemen here. $1.3 million have been given back. Just gone. And we're catching up,
So
please.
Peter Roach, 1995 Wellington Street. So I know one of the issues that's been different this year as the prior years, that one of the reasons the tax rate's gone to 250 from 2 years ago being down at $1.13 is the use of free cash, and also, you know, obviously you've got capital projects, but a capital project you should be borrowing on, not using the current year budget to fund the entire thing. So, you know, the last few years, you've used basically $600,000 a year of free cash to lower the tax rate, which would have put it down to 250, which would have been, I think Jeff and I talked, that would have put the rate at increase, rather than the 60% that it was, down to 20%, which I think would have satisfied a lot more people from a income tax, a property tax standpoint, but that hasn't happened. So, it's a question, well, I guess a statement more about the past year, but now also as we're getting into the 2023, what's going to be the budget process for 2023?
2023. As far as raise and appropriate?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. We're gonna have to look at everything.
We're looking at everything. I mean, it's not
As
just
far-
that easy.
So, Milk Street, I'm sorry, Brook Street is a bit of a concern of mine, because, so we purchase it, fine and dandy, we purchase it. We stop a note on that. I'm thinking that's gonna be pretty soon, hopefully. And then there's other things need to be done. As far as piping, SCADA, engineering, DEP is gonna have their say. It may take a while, so that's gonna cost some change. I'm not sure how much. I've talked to Scott about it, ballpark, under or over. I'm sure we could look at free cash, some part of that, you know what I mean? So as far as expending all of that on this year's stuff, that probably would have been a bad idea, because now, I mean, but we could use it for the Brook Street project or something, some of that going into that project.
So what is the process on looking at capital from a borrowing standpoint?
Woodard and Curran we're involved with them as far as the SRF loans. And as far as trying to get as many grants as we can, we've applied for all the grants, but as of right now, we haven't,
So we did get SRF listed for Main Street, but we haven't heard anything about any forgiveness or any of that stuff. Kind of still hoping with all the printed federal money. Who knows? Still don't know where that's going to go. There's some talk about them using that money through the SRF, but there's no guarantee. Hoping, because we're two things. We're a disadvantaged community and a small community, a small size system. So kind of hoping for some leeway, but that's just guessing.
But when you talk capital projects, I mean, you're talking long-term, 10, 20, 30 year.
Oh, yeah.
Lives, right? We're not talking
We have-
capital
yes.
project that is
Yeah.
a 2-year.
Absolutely. Okay, I know you're right now. So we have we did the capital improvement plan a few years ago.
Last year?
Yeah.
Woodard and Curran.
no, this was.
That was with environmental.
Oh, gotcha.
So then we have a capital
Master
improvement
plan,
plan.
master plan.
Master plan. And then we took that plan and we transferred it into the rate study.
The rate study?
And now we have a kind of a rate model built around that. It takes into account those capital projects. And again, you see some capital projects and you go, yes, no chance. So we took some off, like it's not gonna happen, you know? But those capital projects are reflective in the rates.
So that's my question.
The current projects going forward, like Brook Street, Main Street, water main, like, they're all reflective in that.
So out of the, I know you mentioned 10 to 15 million in spending. I'm assuming that you're looking at borrowing. Okay.
So Main Street is an SRF, Massachusetts SRF.
So if we're borrowing, then we're not including it in the tax rate.
The borrow,
The repayment, obviously, but not we can't build the tax rate up to pay.
right, because you don't know what you're,
Right.
So Woodard and Curran suggested in our rate structure to
Usage rate, you mean?
usage rate.
Okay.
Thank you. That's to, there's like a yearly, what it should be. It's going to go up instead of what we should have been doing all along, which everyone here agrees. It's going to, the regular rate, the usage rate will go up, and hope, this is their intent, and I'm not making any promises, but the tax rate should come down with the usage rate going up. It should kind of even up. Whereas before, we've always been operating on if we need something, take it from there. Don't worry about the rate. I know. I'm not, I know.
So I guess that kind of then plays into the 2023 budget then too. We've got new revenue coming in from the increased rates, which, good. From an expenditure standpoint, then how are you separating operating costs from capital costs?
So,
What do you, I'm not understanding the question. What do you mean, how do we separate it?
So when you're looking at the budget, how are you determining what's an ordinary operating cost of the water district?
right.
Versus what's
So that, okay.
Main Street?
So this building we're sitting in costs 480, what's it?
I'm sorry?
For the note payment?
We have a note right now, it's
Yeah,
about
yeah.
$460,000.
Another 4 years, yeah?
Yeah.
Um,
600,000 was what they were thinking it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
Well,
The whole thing.
for C1 replacement?
So, yeah, we have another note going out, it's about 600 grand for a well replacement.
The gross amount, the
Yes.
loan amount is gonna be 600?
And that's
It's
on.
about 35,000 a year
Yeah,
on that.
that's moving right now. That's
Yeah.
in the work. And with the 400, that's gonna be off the books in 27.
27.
27,
Yeah, it's not long.
yeah. So, and then Main Street will kick in next year.
Yeah,
Brook Street will probably kick in this year, because it's not, I don't know if we're gonna get an SRF for that. So that'll kick in once, obviously, we make the purchase.
With
So
first payment being in '23.
I don't know how that will work, because it's not, I don't think they're gonna give us a year on that one. So if we buy it next
Fiscal year
month.
'23.
Huh?
Fiscal year '23.
More than likely, yes.
Yeah,
It'll be after
yeah,
June.
yeah, yeah.
It'll be after June, it'll be July.
Yeah.
Okay, so just as, I guess, a good example then, Brook Street, what's gonna be in the budget for 2023 is just the note payment. Would be an estimate, because you don't necessarily know what that is today.
Correct.
Don't really know.
But not
Not me.
other
Right.
capital costs involved with Brook Street.
Correct. No, that would be, I think that would, unless we can put some free cash to it, that's probably gonna be more than the free cash we have. Because that cost is expensive to send a pipe up the road, or, that kind of stuff. So it'd be close.
So the same with Main Street then, any costs involved in the Main Street?
Main Street is completely alone. Any cost associated with it will be the
Would end up being bonded and,
SRF, yeah, low interest from the state. And again, hoping and praying, but don't know,
okay.
as far as local.
So you had mentioned a few times about different capital, the tax rate being where it is because of capital projects.
Those two are huge.
So within the '22 budget then, are there capital items?
Right now? What are the capital items?
Are there capital items in the '22 budget?
Current.
Current year budget,
Yeah.
yeah.
Filter.
$265,000 for-
Oh, yeah, engineering was 265,000 for Main Street,
It was 125,000.
120 for the filter.
120 for the side for the zoning.
We had to put 120,000 aside for our meter
Yeah.
for them. So what do we up to, about 600 there?
And the wells.
Give or take. We did a well exploration, that's all we may have been.
From Oak Street, right?
Oak Street.
And then what about rehabbing the mills, cedars? What about rehabbing the cedar
We
mills?
usually, we budget for that.
Okay.
That's a budgeted item.
When we met with,
The truck.
the Department of Revenue, they told us to put money into our stabilization.
Yeah,
So we put 250,000 into stabilization.
the department, yes.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
the line there.
Yep.
So we're trying to build up our so this year we didn't, we did, we put 50,000 in capital stabilization, and then they had us raise and appropriate 200.
Mhm. So out of that 600 then that's in the regular operating budget that was in essence capital, when you start working on your '23 budget, then where do you start?
When I have,
So is that, are you building up from, or, what's, I guess, a criticism of most government is you take last year and
add to.
add 2%.
Right.
But you start
Actually, we
at-
don't
where do you
really
start
do
at
that.
zero, right?
I know Tina said that earlier, just because blatant, but you kind of look at the line, like, we've taken some lines away, and kind of added them to get, because back in the past, I had looked at it, and,
This is 405 that we got rid of.
yeah, my old boss, I talked to it.
But at the end of the day, the number
Right.
is gone, it
Right.
has gone up, whether you
So-
take my items away or not.
So what happened in the past was like, we would have a certain amount in maintenance, right? And, I mean, we've pretty much been going over that and having to take free cash and backfill it in November, right? Well, I'm going, I kind of went up on the, what did I go to, 85? We've gone up on that because, I mean, the system's old. So we use that maintenance line more. Equipment here, we did quite a few upgrades 2 years ago to a lot of the system stuff here. We purchased it with free cash. We did, yeah. All this stuff was quite expensive. So that stuff, I mean, all new turbidity meters, I mean, you're talking $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of stuff back there. That was free cash. So things like that, and we have to take a look at this stuff, say, every 5 years. So there's little things like that that just come up.
Mhm.
The wells, Jason had mentioned. This year was particularly hard on the wells for that reason. We needed to do quite a bit of maintenance on them, motors and whatever. So I've upped that budget, but we've taken from that in the past. Because you'd have to, okay, where am I gonna get that? We went over the 30,000, whatever it is you put in a year, which is 30,000, I believe. I think we went up. So you take it from here, take it from maintenance. Well, no, now we gotta put back in maintenance. So as I've been here now, my third year, we're starting to bring these lines up. We didn't have hydrants, mains, and fittings lines. And again, I was talking to a gentleman who's done this for 40 years, and we kind of went over it. He's a mentor of mine. You gotta have that sort of line. I mean, don't use your maintenance line to buy a hydrant.
Right.
But we have bought hydrants in the past with raise and appropriate. But if I could just, you need them. Shouldn't have to beg for it. I don't know if I'm answering your question, and I honestly think we'd have to sit down and talk about it. Like, I don't know.
So, yeah, I guess basically what it comes down to, the 600,000 is capital in the current year budget.
Mhm.
You even, just pulling the capital portion out of it, I mean, you're almost at 20% of the budget.
So where the current suggests we build up our stabilization accounts. Again, we're not gonna have millions of dollars in there, trust me. But they're not in a comfortable place with it, what they told us. So they want us to build up these separate accounts, capital stabilization, the other ones they started, stabilization.
Oh, okay, we have to keep.
OPEB's been paying, so we fund that. So those two, they want to see better. And yes, we do have free cash that is going to go in there next year. Probably, we'll have to take a look at that. To build them up and what we're incurring to what they, I mean, they're our consultants, so we do feel like they're steering us in the right direction, but
Still paying for this too.
yeah.
Right.
So this
Full
is
one.
What's that?
460,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when those notes do come, we're looking at the 6 million, the 5 million, and then still have this at 450,000. And that's not in my operating budget, which is like 2.
Yeah, so I mean, this is,
1.8 last
1.8.
year.
1.8.
yeah.
Yeah.
So operating 1.8, and then you have probably another 1 million, a little more, give or take. It's quite a bit for a little town.
On debt payments.
Yeah, when this one goes away,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be done. And it reflects on the model. You can see it on the model, how it levels off. It's, you know, it's bad, and then you can see on the model how it does. This is kind of the bear, still paying on it. But it is 60% efficient, so we're lucky.
60% considered good.
Yeah. In this place. Yes?
Do you ever look into having a private company come in and run the place?
I mean, so
Some towns do.
I know, I don't know a lot around here that do. I know Raynham's a private water company,
Right.
but they're a little different than us, I would say, in the technology.
I would say we
think that would be a
haven't
great idea.
explored it. We haven't thought about it, to answer your question. No.
It's not gonna save you any money, because they need to make.
You don't know that. Unless you look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
The Taunton Sewer Commission had the same problem. They hired someone to come in and they
We had
run.
that guy as a commissioner for a while.
But they're run by a private company now,
Yes.
right? They solved all their problems.
Oh, yeah,
Hmm?
Taunton's great.
If I could. Hi, Tim Toolin, Massasoit Road. You know, when I got this, I was upset. But having listened, it does sound like you guys inherited a mess. I have no issue with the tiers of water usage. I mean, I think if I use more water, I should pay more for it. I'm all for that. I was really taken aback by the customer service charge, $170 a year for a service I've been receiving basically for free, but now I understand that's on the previous commissioners. Regarding the previous commissioners, do they still pull a pension from the town? They don't?
No.
Okay. And there's no way to go after them for negligence?
No, no.
No? Well, it sounds from the way you guys explain things that they let things go for a long time.
Everybody has their own way of running things, I guess. It was, I just, from superintendents and commissioners to the way they run things, I just.
So it's just a matter of opinion, is what you're saying?
Right, I mean, there was a lot of building, you know, there was a lot of building in town for the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware.
And the money that was generated from the new building, you know, was,
Sounds were good.
that's how it got funded. It was just, that's just the way.
They decided to run it.
Right, you know, and they never had a well issue back then. You know, the wells weren't taxed the way they are now, or they were last year. So I can't say that the commissioners deliberately didn't know.
Right, and I'm not insinuating.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if a well produces 300 gallons, and then, I mean, our wells are 1970s, and, I mean, they're old.
Right,
You know, and if they don't break down, they just keep pushing them, and then one day when it finally fails, oh, you know, then, okay, now we need to come up with $1 million or $2 million to fix a well that's produced for 40 years.
but now it's producing for so many more residents.
That's right, and that's what we had when we had the drought 2 years ago.
Right when COVID
When
started.
we had,
Yeah.
you know, we had the major drought, that's when the moratorium came into effect.
Right,
We had a couple wells go down, and, you know, and then we really started digging into everything. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I mean, I am not 100% on everything here. I mean, we spend a lot of time here, we care about the place. I mean, I work a full-time job, I have my own company, we do this, I mean, I'm here all the time. We're trying the best we can. You know, we take a lot of it, 99% of advice off of Woodard and Curran. We had another engineering firm in here. I mean, it was just, that was just the way it was run. And we come into this thing and it's, you know, with the droughts and we have problems with the filters. And I don't, a lot of it was just, I don't know how to explain this. Like, if it broke, okay, they fixed it, but they never found out, okay, why did it break? We've repaired it 10 times, but we never found out why it broke.
they put Band-Aids on it, basically.
So, yeah, for an instance.
Yeah, it's the filters. But we'll give the filters a
Walker too. Walker
It's
too.
just, that's just the way, you know, the filters, well, just lay on the filters for 1 second. You know, every 2 years or 3 years, the air pipes would all break. They were all plastic.
They tried to fix it in-house.
They tried to fix it in-house, it didn't work. And then when we did the first one, I came here on my day off, and I said, stop. Why are they plastic? There's 120 pounds PSI air in plastic pipes that are snapping, breaking, plastic fittings breaking. Let's stop, get an engineering firm in here, let's make them out of metal. Well, it's stainless. And now we changed them to stainless. And now we're on our third one, change them so they never break again. They can last its lifetime, but it was just, it's not that they put a Band-Aid on it, but that's what the original manufacturer put in there, so that's what they would put back.
Right,
Okay, it did cost more money to change to stainless. We all knew it, but they'll never break again. Okay,
Right.
let's move forward. And now we've done a filter every year. They said the filters were gonna last 20 years. We're in 13 and they were broken.
We were told that, but they,
It's just
the
everything
manufacturer
we,
said, well, who told you that?
we have not spent a
That's not true.
dime of extra money on foolishness, wasting money. Everything we do here is we check and check and check and check. The engineering firms, I understand you guys are upset. Hey, my taxes went up. I understand people on fixed income. The only thing that I have to say about this whole conversation, that Woodard and Curran, I had a couple of residents on fixed income, certain ages get a tax break from the town, and I don't know what the criteria is. we didn't do that when we went up on the tax rate. And I'm looking into, Woodard and Curran is looking into that as far as if there's a certain criteria on giving the tax break to the people that are getting a tax break from the town. But I don't know what else to.
I mean, Tim, do you really, I mean, you know me, in us watering our grass, do you really think I really wanted to raise the rates? I mean,
Yeah.
not at all.
No, and
Yeah.
that's why I said,
Yeah.
you know, from what I've heard tonight, it sounds like it is what it is, and this is necessary. I mean, I'm not gonna be happy about paying more, but I understand it, and I can afford to pay more. About the moratorium, why wouldn't you extend it?
I think we
Oh, we plan on it.
We plan on it.
Okay.
We haven't
I-
had discussions internally yet, but, I mean, my opinion is that it's going to get extended.
There's
and I
nothing in
haven't talked to
place
Neil.
right now to.
Right, but you,
To alleviate.
there's a
Yeah.
limit on
Yes.
it right now.
Right.
All right. Now, obviously, a lot of these issues are because of the growth of the town, like you said, over the last 10 years.
When you grow the town
But-
according to a system that can't support the town.
Right. So whose fault is that? Is it the planning board? Is it the board of selectmen that they just keep allowing more and more building?
That's the million-dollar question.
I would say there's better communication now than.
Yeah,
there's a
we
lot of
never
good
had
communication.
liaison. I mean, when I was first
I
started
think
coming
the
here,
communication-
Lenny was the first one to start to interact the town with the, you know, they can still be building in town right now. They are still building, but if it's, you're right, if it's if you buy a 100-acre lot, you can only put one house on that 100-acre.
Or you can put more than one house, but you have to, if you do that, you have to put wells in.
Right.
Right, but as far as the town right now, with the moratorium, if you have a 2-acre lot, you can put a house. If you have a 100-acre lot, you can put only one house. That's the way the moratorium, so they're still building in town, they're still putting in new homes.
And they are, or they're not connecting to the water?
They are connected.
Oh, they are.
Single homes.
Single homes.
Single, just not subdivision.
Just not your subdivision, correct. I mean, I think the one-off homes can effectively tie into the system. It's when you get those 100-unit subdivisions that really put us over the edge. I think the subdivision moratorium is better than, obviously, nothing.
Yeah.
We've had quite a few people's wells go dry and we've had to tie them in, and that's normal.
Yeah.
That- We can't deny that.
Yeah.
It hasn't been, maybe done 20.
I mean, I don't want to speak for Jeff or anyone else, but this Brook Street well opens up a lot of stuff for us.
Right.
Lots of water, lots of good, clean water. Then we would probably talk about lifting the moratorium. But until then, in my opinion, it's going to stay there.
And Brook Street is because there are established wells there, right?
This is-
Somerset owns an established well there.
Right,
Correct.
so it wouldn't be cost effective for the town to just establish other wells
We-
elsewhere?
We looked in the area and,
So we looked in Cedar, 2 years ago, we looked behind Cedar 1. There's a 20-acre lot that we actually did some test wells up there and we didn't find any water.
Okay.
So that was maybe 3 years ago.
we did find some water 70 feet off the original well, which we're gonna, that's the 600,000. We're replacing that, but it wasn't an extra. It's not.
That's just a
We were
replacement.
looking
Right, we were looking for
a new source.
A new
It
source.
wasn't a new
Right, right.
So
source.
we didn't find a new source there. Then we looked on the Milk Street property, and there was maybe potential with that lot.
Yeah.
But then the Brook Street, well, Somerset was having problems.
It was more cost effective for us to buy the well from Somerset than to develop our own well.
It's a known commodity.
Yeah.
Good. All right. And it wouldn't do any good
Oh, yeah.
with you guys or the town to give some tax breaks or tax credits to encourage people to install their own wells? Like, for example, I mean, I'm probably gonna be where I am 5 more years. I don't think it's worth it for me to spend the time and money putting a well in my yard. But I'm just saying, for people, if I was gonna be around another 20 years, I don't know, maybe a tax break to encourage people, put your own well in, and that's less of a draw on the
I
towns.
haven't heard.
That's a good question that we can look into.
Fair question.
It's a fair, yeah, absolutely.
Still
When I moved
You
up
still
to
have to
town,
tax for the
the
fire
fire
hydrant,
hydrant, right, you still gonna.
Right.
But still.
Just saying, it'd be less of a burden on the town.
Right.
I'm gonna move up to town with a guy across me, Ventura. He had one well 400 feet and another one 500. I went down 150 feet and got 50 gallons a minute, right across the street.
You never know where the veins are.
Yep, that's the thing where the veins are.
Unbelievable,
Did you divine rod it and find it?
huh? No,
No?
they, I told them where I liked the well and they came down and
The shallow,
150 feet,
150 foot
50 gallons a minute.
municipal well, when you're looking at municipal wells, it's cost effective. Say we had to go 100 feet, that's like Midwest stuff, but we don't do that generally out here. But say you went 150 feet, 200 feet. You need to get an incredible amount of yield to make that cost effective. Because
Well, our deepest well is 30 feet.
they're like
Oh, really?
ish feet.
So I asked that same question at the land on Cedar. Why couldn't we go 100, 200, 300, 400?
Think about a shaft
And they-
going out.
Right.
It's not the money it would cost. It's
Replacing
not.
it.
Well, they only go down so long and then you hit ledge and that's where the well is.
I mean, your shaft is this big.
Yeah, 4
Yeah.
inch, right?
Ours is, like 30.
Yeah,
It's tough.
Well, you can see that, if you ever drive by Cedar Street, on the right-hand side, if you're going towards Rehoboth, the new
Yeah.
well is 30-inch casing, 24-inch casing.
Generally,
That's
your-
where the redevelopment is.
Generally, your bedrock wells, which is what you're probably talking, going through that, don't produce much water for us. When we're looking at 400 plus, 400 or 500 gallons a minute is,
now I get
500
50.
gallons a minute's an averagely, you're looking at good water. 1,000 gallons a minute, phenomenal. Our best well here does 3,
But you don't know.
280, 270.
What did we get what did we get on,
Cedar?
behind my place? When we did the exploration, do you remember?
God, that was, so that had really good water, but it was shallow,
Yeah.
and the drawdown. So if the calculations, I can't remember what its calculations were. It was over 60 gallons a minute, but then you go by the drawdown. It was good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good over there. We were probably looking at 400 or 500 gallons a minute. But it was shallow,
Yeah.
and it had a kind of a strange drawdown. So they were,
So they're afraid it was gonna go dry.
yeah, it may have needed some, and Sullivan was telling me what he could do.
It all just
Certain
goes, it all
things
just
they
goes
can
down to the
do.
Somerset well anyway, right?
And then the Somerset well
We're catching it upstream.
Yeah.
is, I've been told, they redid the well, they were getting 500 gallons a minute, and it had no drawdown. It was 500 gallons a minute, no drawdown.
But it's still expensive. I mean, it took us a long time to try to come up with a number, to purchase it. And we're still in talks with them, but hopefully it still goes through. It's not a definite. I mean, it's not a 100% definite deal. So if it doesn't go through for some apparent reason, I mean, we're back to square one again. I mean, we're all hoping that we can get that, that well that produces the amount of water and good water. There's a whole other issue too, as far as where we can put wells in town, because all the water, if we decide to put a well in town, we still have to get the well to the transmission line to come here. People just say, oh yeah, well, I got a piece of land down on Pleasant Street. That's not gonna do us any good because the transmission line only goes from Cedar to here. We can't make 3 miles of piping, so like Brook Street, the water quality is so good that we can treat it there, put a small tiny building up, put some chlorine in it, and put it into the system. So that's like, it doesn't have to come here. Plus this plant, from when it was designed back, if the plant, when it was made, said it produced 1 million gallons a day, we can only put 700 through it. Anything more than that and the water's dirty. So there's issues too that we have up here that they were sold a bill of goods that weren't. So that's why we're really trying to focus on that Brook Street well.
This has been really informative, and I think if you guys just could think of ways to get this information out to the public.
Our website went live today.
Okay, so it's about
Our
time.
new website went live today.
New website. We've had a website, it was just kind of antiquated.
If you have any ideas how to do that, please,
no,
because
no.
We went live today.
Yeah.
we had a selectmen meeting last week, we
Year and a half
try
ago.
to, I mean,
A special meeting?
We want people to show up and ask questions, honestly, because, I mean, this is, you three folks sitting there is the most I've seen in
Collectively, like 6
In
months.
in years, probably.
Right, but yeah,
Honestly.
I've never known when the meetings were, and the only reason I knew about the meeting that got postponed last week was because I came to the building to ask about it. And then, of course, I showed up, and I think this guy showed up with me, and, you know, nobody, we had no way of knowing the meeting was canceled. And,
Canceled,
hey,
yeah.
it is
So
what
the
it
new
is.
website will send, if you sign up, you on that?
Yeah,
You'll get alerts.
yeah.
Great.
And it's
Yeah, all
on
the
there. I have-
notifications.
We're working on this. Like,
Yeah,
we're gonna
but you
add-
guys also have signage you could use. You got a
Yeah.
sign out there. You could put, you could say, you know, water district meeting, you know,
Yeah,
this day.
we used to.
You've got the signs about baseball and stuff, and you
Yeah.
guys put the signs up about the water ban. I'm like, you know,
I'll buy some signs and we'll.
you don't have, I don't think you have to, I'm not saying you gotta buy them, I'm just saying you've got them. You just use them and let people know. And like I said, I mean, I'm leaving here, I understand a lot more than I did before. I just think, and that's great, the website's up and running, but, you know, use your signage, let people know.
Yeah.
And I think if people are informed, they're gonna be a lot less upset about what's going on. I mean, I understand this, and, hey, I can afford to pay it, but I wanted to know why.
Oh, and there
Why
are a
am
lot
I
of
rich?
people that are having tough times, and I understand that.
Yeah.
People aren't, like, older people and
Yeah.
fixed income.
And not only having tough times, but, you know, like he said, taxes are insane in this town. And, you know, now the water's going up, and I get it, it's a small town, there's no business in the town, and that's gonna affect the tax rate. So I just think, you know, it's great, the webpage is going up, but I just think if, you know, put some letters up on the sign, hey, water district meeting, and, you know, and I just wish I had known when you guys were considering this, the rates, and, you know, I might have wanted to come and hear about it at the time,
Yeah.
and I had no idea until this came in the mail, so, you know, just, you know, I hope going forward, there's better communication, and it sounds like there will be, now that the website's up and running.
Another possible tool is the town's use of the YouTube and Zoom and all electronic. I think
We'll put us on
you've
there,
found
yeah.
that,
Right.
right, town, participation at the selectmen
Our
meetings and
meetings are,
everything
yeah,
else has
website
gone
also.
up. I know, finance committee, the meetings, I mean, we get comments from people once they quiet their dogs that, you know, a lot more participation than normal. So it might be something to think about.
Makes it
Our
easier.
meetings are on after, we have them on YouTube.
So we
after the fact.
have them live,
Oh.
I think we'd have to go somewhere else to do that.
Old Town Hall.
And I gotta
Old
go.
Town
Thank you,
Hall.
Shelley.
Thanks, have a great
Thank
night.
you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you, Shelley,
Yeah.
Mr. Lennon.
They booted us out there a few
Yes.
times because somebody else.
You know what I got here?
Oh, sure do.
Needed it.
Huh?
Yeah, we were
General
holding them there
Flynn.
for a little
General
while.
Flynn, you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
His friend is.
Oh, nice.
He lives around.
Wait a minute. Flynn?
General
General
Flynn.
Flynn.
Michael Flynn.
They tried to railroad him under the FBI.
My father's next door neighbors with his brother in Florida.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah?
my father's good friends with him, yeah. That's too
Small
funny.
way.
You know, he was
Wow.
right there. I lived in Rhode Island.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're-
See?
You're Lenny, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I have your old job, you know, at Friedman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have your old, I teach social studies with Rich Briety and John Phillips and those guys.
Right.
I'll tell them that I said.
Please,
He's
please
still
do.
doing it, he's still at it.
Oh, Rich?
Yeah.
Over 50 years in the classroom.
Wow.
He's gonna turn 75 this year.
Wow,
So,
dedicated.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you, nice meeting you.
All right.
I don't know whether to applaud them or.
I'm going to throw something out there. Yeah, forgive me if I'm out of place for saying this. My experience over the last year, working with Mr. Rendon and Mr. Roach, has been a wonderful experience. As you've seen this evening, very knowledgeable in the field of municipal finances. I'm wondering if people from FinCom reviewing, or helping you in the budget process, throwing ideas out, as Mr. Roach did tonight, would be helpful. And that's something to think about.
We have our own, like, set of guidelines, right? In a FinCom, a finance committee.
Well, it wouldn't be approval, because I don't think the policy or bylaws of the town call for that, but just to get their expertise involved in the budget process. You know, especially with your capital projects and funding them. I mean, I don't
We have
know.
the same with sewer. We review their budget with them, but at the end of the day, we don't
Oh, you
really
do?
say,
Right, so you consult in a way. So I'm just wondering, I didn't know you did that with sewers. Something to look at, another set of eyes looking it over, and also ideas. And then, it's not an approval thing, so it's not like they're gonna be cut into your turf.
Oh, and I don't have a problem with that,
No.
right, I don't have,
No.
I mean, it's not like, I mean,
But I was just, he asked some great questions.
Well, what do you do with sewer? Do you meet like 3, 4, 5 times a year, whatever it is with them? Or
Once.
do you just come in at the end and
Just
say,
look
what
at
do you
the
want?
warrant.
We-
What are you doing?
yeah, so we're we're really meeting with them probably on the last week of April. And that's it before the town meeting. It's really one of our last.
Is the sewer a separate entity like we are?
Sewer's
No,
an
they're part of
enterprise.
town.
Yes.
So-
No.
They're an enterprise?
No,
Are they an
Woody
enterprise?
reminds me every time.
All right, so they're an enterprise. Yeah.
So, since I don't understand that compared to what we are, what's the difference?
They're self-funded, like us, basically.
Yeah, a little different in that
Little different, though.
is a district, but
hmm.
They're just self-funded from the town, they make their own money.
So they're separate from the town like we are, correct?
Yeah, quasi?
Yes, but I don't think they
Yeah.
have,
Quasi.
these guys have
We're
a
wicked, we're separate.
legislative
authority,
body.
right?
They're like under the town, but
Right.
they are like, they make their own money. They got their own stuff.
They're self-sufficient.
Yeah, that's, I guess they utilize some more of the town departments than you guys
It
do.
would be like in DPW and you have a water department, that's an enterprise fund.
Okay.
They're a town, you're a town, part of the town, you're a town worker. But
Is there
you,
a motion to-
your budget is completely funded through rates, tax, whatever it is.
Right.
Rates. Like where I was in Easton, I was a town worker, water fund worker, I was paid through by water funds and receipts,
Mhm.
not taxes, which is the sewer department.
Yeah,
So they're town, but it's quasi. It's different.
So with us not being tied to the town, there wouldn't be any issues with you, I guess, acting as a liaison for our budget or anything like that?
I mean,
From a,
right, because we wouldn't have a say
right,
per se, just. just
suggestions
a-
or recommendations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even recommendations really, because end of the day, we're giving recommendations on the town budget.
Right.
I mean, we could be giving you guys recommendations, but we're not necessarily giving recommendations for the,
How many are there? 5, 4, 3?
right now there's 4, but we have 3 people, looking to join for our next meeting.
Sorry.
The total, the size is 7.
Is there any way to condense that and say, instead of 7 people, I mean, do we need 7 people?
Well, you could create whatever you want, because it's informal, there's no bylaws.
Seems like a lot, I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Okay, we can talk about it.
All right, is there a motion to go into executive session under the provisions of chapter 38, section A, to discuss contract negotiations?
So moved.
Second.